Which driver goes further for the world long drive competitor here? We have the Aerojet LS and we have the Callaway Paradigm Triple Diamond. Anna's going to hit some shots, we're going to hit some bombs, and we're going to find out which driver goes the furthest. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Thomas Campbell, Director of Instruction at Swing Lab Performance Golf. Today I'm joined by world long drive competitor Anna Drahos. Anna, you're in the search for more distance. Specifically, you've talked about 170, even 180 ball speed. So you want to do a comparison today of two drivers that you're interested in the market for, right?
I am, yep.
Yeah, so specifically tell me why you like these two particular drivers.
Well, I've tested a bunch of driver heads, but looking at the competition, what they're currently using, these are some of the top heads that I see in these competitions. And just looking at them, their faces are hot. The way it looks too, I love the way that both of them look, and they can get down in their degrees. So they're going down to 8 or 7 degrees, depending on how you adapt the club. So I'm looking to see what they can do.
Yeah, awesome. So as I mentioned, we've got the Cobra Aerojet LS. This is a 9-degree head. The difference with this particular driver is if you're changing center of gravity, you're changing it kind of more from heel to toe. So it's more of a fixed low spin driver head. Callaway Paradigm Triple Diamond, there's no heel to toe changes, but you can move the weight forward or back. Nice thing also with these particular drivers, you can get different weights and you can change up how much weight you want forward, how much weight you want back, and you neutralize a little bit. I see a lot of tour players, for example, they'll maybe go with like a couple of 8 gram heads versus 14 and 2. So there's ability there with this particular driver to go forward and back. Aerojet LS is more heel to toe. So it really depends on what we're looking for. Your particular driver right now you're playing, we got the Callaway Epic Speed. I know it looks like we do have the weight forward, so you'll be chasing a little bit more ball speed there. You've hit this driver pretty well. It's been a great to help you, but now I know you're chasing more distance. I think you're headed out here in a couple of weeks, right? Mm-hmm. What's your next competition?
Going out to LaSalle, Colorado for the next World Long Drive competition. It goes from June 9th to the 11th, and the women hit on the 11th if you want to tune in around, I think it's noon Mountain Time.
Awesome. That'll be really exciting if you want to see. What's your goals there?
My goal is to hit the ball high and let it fly, and I'd like to set a new PR record. My outside PR is 329, so I'm looking to hopefully hit 330, 340, hopefully more than that.
Well, 329 plus 10%, right?
It's doable.
That's doable, right? Yeah, so I said 10% because you're going to be up at some elevation up out in Colorado. So that'll be exciting for you. Good luck in that. It should be fun to watch. So make sure you stay tuned for Anna's long drive competition. Getting back to what we're doing here is we're doing a club comparison. So we're going to compare these two models compared to your driver. Let's see some numbers with your driver first, and we'll see how these other two perform. Okay, Anna, let's see some shots here with your current gamer, and then we'll see what we got to beat. Very good start there. All right, so what kind of numbers have you been seeing? Tell me what you've been trying to chase here with your long drive stuff. Like maybe start with club speed and ball speed.
Yeah, club speed wise, looking back at the competition and looking to see what they're doing or the top competitors are doing, I would say having a 120 club speed is ideal. They're not hitting 120 all the time, but to be pretty consistent, 120 club speed. Ball speed,
So
yeah.
that would be your goal with club speed, right? Is your goal to try and reach 120?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, right now we're at just over 110.
Yeah.
I've seen you push it a little bit, so I might ask you to push it a little bit as we're testing some of these.
Okay.
The reason I ask that is these are pretty good optimal numbers right now for your club speed. We start playing around with maybe, like, for example, the Paradigm Triple Diamond. I know that one spins a little less when you put that weight forward. If we don't have enough speed, it's not going to give you the max carry and total distance that you need.
Okay.
And I know when we're getting outside, especially at elevation, we need to get the ball up in the air. So we might want to focus on attack angle. We might want to focus on club speed to make sure we can get you in those optimal windows.
Okay.
So if we're doing comparing these heads, all of a sudden we're not seeing too much of a change. That's where we're going to have to obviously make some changes to make sure you get some more distance.
Okay.
Yeah. And then ball speed. What about ball speed?
Ball speed. So the one thing that I know that you've said and other people have said, so the number one thing with long drive is you have to hit the ball in the sweet spot. If you don't hit in the sweet spot, you're not going to get that optimal distance and carry. So ball speed is kind of that reflection of how well you're hitting it and how fast you're swinging it. So ball speed, like I've been saying, 170 is kind of my peak so far, but seeing 175, 180, that's where you're seeing the top competitors.
Yeah, and like a 1.5 smash factor, people talk about that all the time with the driver. 120, 180 would be kind of right at the very, very top end of for you to chase, and it takes time. I mean, I know you've been working hard on increasing club speed. Your swing's getting so much better. Your path, your facing, everything like that is getting better. But we just obviously, I know you got to keep pushing that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's start out here. Let's kind of talk about these numbers real quickly, just so we can kind of see where we're at. So you're hitting it over 300 yards, which is great. I mean, all your shots minus this one here, you got maybe a little off the heel or low on the face. We're well comfortably over 300. We take that out. We're at 310 on average, which is awesome. 111 club speed, 163 ball speed. So these are great numbers that if someone's coming in for a fitting, it's like, it's gonna be hard for me to beat this. Landing angle 36 degrees, spin at 2200. These are excellent numbers. However, I know you're trying to push yourself even more. So let's compare these drivers and see just what direction we want to go.
Sounds great.
All right, so let's first start here. So I've got our all-fit system. So I'm going to start here with the Cobra driver. So nice thing with this one, we can change the loft up to match kind of what you've got. You get an 8-degree driver right now, right?
This is currently at 8 degrees.
Okay, perfect. And that way we can also play the exact same golf shaft. You have the IZ4S, right?
Yes.
So that one weighs 47 grams. We don't have that exact golf shaft. We have the the R1 5S, which is like 54 grams. It's just a slightly lower on the torque level, so this would be pretty comparable, but also 46 inches in length, which is what you're currently playing. 314, that's pretty good. A little more club speed there, 111.7. And that one you would also still maybe classify as a miss there too. So we're seeing some serious potential with this. I don't think you've pieced together a one that you've probably felt like a great swing here yet with this. But you can see 314, we got that little higher launch, lower spin effect with that particular drive. Maybe we'll come back to that one. Let's see if we can change the driver up a little bit and see. But yeah, so I wasn't seeing right off the bat any major gains. Let's see if we see anything different here with the Paradigm. Tell me as I'm doing this, maybe how that driver felt, if you can notice any difference compared to yours.
Yeah, some of the things that I noticed different from Callaway. I've hit a few different drivers, and between Callaway and Aero and Cobra, what I hear is I hear a difference when I hit it. I hear a little more hollow kind of ping rather than a high-pitched ping.
Okay.
I guess those are the two that I notice. I definitely think the shaft is different, so I'm getting used to that. Mine's a little bit more flexible than I think the shaft that I'm swinging currently.
Yep.
So there's that. It just feels a little bit stiffer. But the head itself, like it still feels same weight, same everything. It's just a little bit of a different sound.
Okay. Well, let's now test the Paradigm here. If we say, for example, like the Paradigm best, Callaway adapter, Callaway sheave, Callaway shaft already, we can always throw that shaft in and see if that makes a difference there too. All right, so Anna, so with long drive, obviously distance is important, right? Maybe not quite as much dispersion because you got to get 1 out of 6. Am I correct there in the grid?
Correct.
In your heats or in your matches. So looking at what we're seeing here with your current driver, 314.6 is kind of where your longest one that you hit. We scroll up here, Aerojet 313.7. So pretty similar compared to what we're seeing with your gamer. Paradigm, Triple Diamond, you got a 319.9, a 314.9. So you had a couple there with a little bit more distance overall. There's one thing that really stood out to me, and this is exactly what I've seen when I've tested clubs and I've seen other people testing here, is spin rate. If you look here at Paradigm Triple Diamond, look at all these low spin numbers, right? The highest you got was 2200, lowest here was 1500. So that to me, that screams potential, especially as a long drive person. I don't think these were your best swings that I've seen you put together here. You'll notice, yeah, you got a couple here where you're 140 ball speed, your smash factor's down. But even see, look kind of at the spin rate. Notice the spin rate didn't go up. Aerojet here, you'll notice spin rate was a little bit higher. You had a couple that were low, but then these others were a little bit higher overall. So let me kind of ask you, you have a good idea on long drive stuff. What kind of numbers are you looking for in long drive?
Yeah, that is a constant debate, I will say that, but usually around 2,000 spin. That's kind of what I'm liking to see for my numbers. 1,800 is probably the lowest that I want to go. I've heard of people doing 1,400, but I think they know the specifics of their shot shape and what they're looking for that spin. And I'm not to that level yet, so I like to see between 1,800 and 2,200.
Yeah, and keep in mind also those particular people, they're swinging probably a little faster than you are.
Faster, yeah.
So you're still trying to gain that speed here, and I'm thinking potential, because right now your club speed is basically 110, 111. That hasn't changed as we tested all these heads. I think you really start to go after it a little bit like you do with your long drive, 115, 116 club speed. Naturally, the more speed that you have, the more spin you're going to get on the ball. It's just going to increase the spin rate. So that, along with angle of attack. If we look over here, I'm also seeing a little potential here too with the Paradigm Triple Diamond, just because you're seeing angle of attack here is 4.2. When you're hitting the Aerojet, it was 5.1 up, and yours was 4.4. So you're able to get that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees up with the angle of attack, with a little lower spinning head with more club speed. That's when you're going to get your more distance, especially if you only need to get 1 out of 6 on the grid. So that's important to bring up. Dispersion here, obviously we're kind of seeing, this is maybe a little bit over. I could probably get rid of this one over here. Get rid of that maybe completely. But if we look here, you can see carry, total distance here. We see 1, 2 there. That the blue there, that was the Callaway. The white was your driver, and that was pretty consistent, right? But if you look here, the Cobra Aerojet, you had one that was up there pretty good. But the other ones were maybe just a little bit shorter overall. So I mean, always in a club fitting, I'm usually asking people, hey, what circle do you like better? There's trends. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue ones that are pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4 white ones that are also pretty good. We're only seeing maybe 1 there. I know it's only 1, but if you can get 2 or 3, then obviously there's not as much pressure on you there too. So, I mean, end of the day, you're the one that's hitting the club, not me. Let me ask you, kind of comparing these two drivers, which one felt more comfortable to you?
If I'm being completely honest, I really did like the Paradigm better. And I think it might be because my current club is a Callaway Epic Speed. So hitting a Callaway Paradigm, it just felt more natural. It felt like it looks the same to a certain degree. There's some subtle differences. But I think it was just the feel of the aerodynamics of swinging that club. I'm used to kind of that feel. So right now the Paradigm is something that was definitely winning today.
Well, the one I think that stood out obviously with the spin is I had the 14 gram weight forward with the Paradigm. There's about 300 RPM difference if you move that weight back. So you could play back and forth if you notice that this is spinning too low. Okay. So that's one thing we can play around with. I want to see, going back to your golf shaft, just to see, if we can try and pick up a little bit more club speed and go after it. Like imagine you're trying to give it your all, just to see what happens with this low spin driver and see what kind of distance we can get.
Okay.
Sound good?
Great.
All right. So let's switch this back over here, because this golf shaft, it was close. There's one thing you did mention to me, like the shaft, it just felt just slightly off. And also the grip, right, too, because you play an undersized grip. This is a standard size grip. Yep.
There's always little ways to tweak and make your club put together differently, you know, so that it works best for you. So yeah, coming here and being able to try the different options, that's been a highlight so that I can really hone in for my long drive.
Yeah, and I know there's other drivers out there in the market. Is there a reason why you end up picking, say, these two as your favorites as you've gone through your testing process?
Yeah.
You know, you've included, you know, say TaylorMade, for example, Cobra, Titleist. Did you try those out?
I did. I think I tried, what was it, the TS, was it Titleist, is it 3?
TSI3.
TSI3, okay.
Sorry.
Yep. TSI.
Yep.
So I've tried that one. That one, I think more than anything, it was the feel of it that I don't know, I didn't like it personally, but you know, everybody has their different likes and dislikes. And then the Stealth, I tried the Stealth too, and it wasn't that it was bad, I just didn't get the distance. I think it was pretty consistent being straight, but it didn't get me to the next level.
Okay. Well, let's try and take you a little bit out of your comfort zone here and see if we can get a few who are really, you know, we're going after it. Your swing's pretty good. Your swing's still maybe a little across. So one thing that we've been working on with you is aim right and trust that you're gonna bring it back. Trying to get rid of that negative number with that club path. That's also going to help as well. So swinging out towards right field, I think that's something we've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
But with the undersized grip, it's helped to get that club face and then also rotate over. Let's see you go after a few here, see what happens. It's a little low on the face.
Yeah, a little low attack.
A little low and heel on the face. Yeah, there's so much that goes into this, right? Like, yes, we know more club speed is going to equal more distance. More ball speed also is, but if you don't hit it in the middle of the face with that fast speed, it doesn't matter. Then obviously we've got to try and get the launch angle up through your angle of attack. Also, the loft on the club influences that. And then where you catch on the club face.
Exactly.
And that is, you know, if you're just a little bit off, these drivers are forgiving, but if you're just a little bit off, it will influence that spin.
Exactly.
And that's why that one off the heel, you know, it jumped to 2,600. Still a great shot. I think everyone will be happy to hit 305, but I know you want to hit as far as you possibly can. Yeah.
I do. I want to hit it as far, and I know I can do it, but yeah, it's those little adjustments every time. So I like having the numbers here.
169. Yeah. So yeah, we're 113 is kind of what you're getting to with your club speed, which is quite okay. I know you want to keep pushing at it, and this is what we're seeing here on the club speed. Furthest drive, what do we got here? Total distance. This one, 327. 327. That's pretty good right there.
Yeah.
To finish up, I do want to switch those weights across.
Okay.
While I'm doing that, I want you to just explain golf shafts to me and what you've been doing for long drive or for golf shafts. I know you said you have a couple coming or you have another one coming. So talk about the golf shafts for long drives.
Yeah, so I'm discovering different shafts, different types. Some of the long drive, most common ones, you're going to get a Patterson or a Kinetic shaft. A lot of people do that with the Callaway. They mix those two. Yeah. I'm going to do the TPT shaft. So this, I think, has recently come on tour and is getting more notoriety. I think Jason Day used it in his last tournament that he won. So TPT, it's 21 high is the one that I'm using, and there's different levels. I don't know the whole explanation with the torque and everything, but there are specific numbers within there that are that flexibility, that torque on the shaft, that whip to the shaft. A lot of the winners for these tour events, they're using TPT shafts. So that's something that I've kind of got into. One of the men's senior winners, he's been using it for a little bit now. So I kind of got his advice about the shaft. And so just getting it more whippy, lighter shaft, you want to be able to get that club head speed up. So that's kind of what I've been looking at.
Yeah, because it's an interesting conversation because, you know, as a club fitter fitting the general public, most of the time I'd say you're over 110. So we're talking about probably an extra stiff, a little heavier golf shaft for club face control. But you're chasing more club speed from the lighter golf shaft and also probably a little bit longer and different torques and all that. So that's why we're not really going down that route of, you know, we've got a 4S golf shaft right here in this. But, you know, yes, that would be something that I'd chase if we didn't just need to get 1 out of 6 in the fairway. And your grid, how wide is the grid normally?
It's about 50 or 60 yards.
50 or 60 yards.
Yep.
So most courses, usually the fairway is probably a little tighter than 50 or 60 yards.
I'd say 30, 40. It depends on, you know, when narrows and widens. So
yeah. So it's a different game. So that's why golf shaft wise, I'll leave that to you know, your expertise on that, and you know, on the long drive.
On the long drive,
rather, you know, and you know, I've recommended the shaft for you as like a good comparable in between, so you can play this when you're playing. You still like to play competitively, so you can still control the face a little bit, but also still gives you that feel on the torque that might be close to what you're playing in yours.
No, exactly. And this is, so since this is a 46-inch setup, that's also, you're bringing up something different with a lot of the long drive competitors. They're doing 48-inch shafts. But I, as you can tell, I'm not the tallest person. So the people who are getting those longer shafts, it works for them a little bit better than it does for me. So I don't have a 48-inch shaft yet, but I'm trying to play around with it.
Yeah, and it's quite amazing, you know, how far, I mean, 327, how tall are you?
I am 5'4".
5'4". So everyone watching here, Anna's only, she might be standing on a little bit of a step up here, but Anna's only 5'4", and she's bombing at 327. So it's impressive to see, so it's been fun to watch. What I did here is I flip-flopped the weights. So we'll finish up here. As we were talking about spin, I know you said 2,000 spin is kind of what would be more kind of optimal for you right now. So I'm hoping this would give you just a little bit more spin with this driver. There you go. And I know these, once again, probably not your best swings, but by moving that weight forward, your lowest spin rate on those last 5 swings was 1927.
Okay.
Then the next one was 2178, 2363. And the other couple were a little bit higher, maybe a little more user error there. So if you need more spin, that's what you would flip-flop.
Okay.
If you lead less spin, a touch more ball speed, a little bit hotter, the 14-gram weight forward is, as you increase your club speed, you get better and better. As you increase your angle of attack as well, that's your golden number. I'm noticing as we're getting towards the end of this video here, I say the word fatigue, you're going to fight me on it, but if I'm seeing angle of attack drop a little bit, path get a little bit further across, and then your hit locations influence that spin to go up a little bit more, and also the curve to the right too. Yeah. So if you're chasing just pure distance, I like a 14-gram weight forward. Okay. But if you need a little more spin, you flip-flop those 2 weights around.
Okay.
So I like the Paradigm, triple diamond. I think you could optimize the Aerojet LS too. But I think you have played Callaway drivers for a bit. I think you stick with it. I think you've really got some potential there with the weight distribution with the club head. Got any other questions?
No.
Just
ready to get hitting.
All right. So remind our viewers again, where can we see you?
You can see me World Long Drive. They do it on YouTube. June 9th to the 11th is the next competition in LaSalle, Colorado. The women hit on June 11th, and they hit around noon Mountain Time.
Awesome. Golfers, if you love this content, love watching Anna, let us know what you think of this video. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel.